said, right after PSA was recorded, yo, we got a classic. The people determine that, and time determines that. You know, PSA is one of those anomalies where we made the record in 2003, here we are 12 years later, and it still rings on. You can't call something a classic until 10 years later, you still play it in the crowd that just came out. That's how you define a classic.
What means more to you, records like that or the records that were big on the radio like Oh Boy?
That's a loaded question. I'll tell you the honest truth, I'm happy to have a record that rings on and is timeless. I'm more happy to have that than a record that gets 20,000 spins and then nobody wants to ever hear it again. The great thing about my life experience in general is that I've had a few records that have been able to kind of put a foot in both lanes. I've had records that are hip-hop classics, are loved 10, 15 years later, but still got, 10, 20, 30,000 spins. At one point, Oh Boy was the highest spun record in history.
Wow.
Which is amazing.
What would you tell these young producers to chase? Would you tell them to chase the radio hits or just do the music they want to make?
Don't chase the radio hits because you know what? The more you chase the radio hits, the more you're liable to make something that sounds like something that's already out and that is getting played already. And I guarantee you right now, 50% of your Brooklyn Club playlists, you'll be able to play in 6 minutes.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? And that's just the way.
Not even 6, I think 3.
Right. And that's just the way the world works. So I'd rather have records, or I would say concentrate on records that are timeless. And you'll see that 10 years from now, that 50% of that playlist that we were talking about, nobody wants to hear those records even 2 months later. Whereas you have certain records that always remind you of where you were when you first heard it, and make you feel a certain way when you hear them. And 5 years, like I said in PSA, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, you can't say they're lied to you.